Okay, so in this video we will be creating a really simple animation using Photoshop, animated GIF, web banner ad using Photoshop. So we'll start off doing a file new, setting up our document. It's taking a while to load. So width 300, height 250, resolution should be 72 for the web, and RGB color mode. Everything else, don't worry about too much except for make sure this says pixels, make sure this says pixels/inch, and push create. That'll set up our document here. So what we're going to do, we're going to bring in the cow and hall. We're going to put the black over the top like we did in the last video, and then we're going to add in text. So let's open up File Open. So we will open up, I think it's in this file. Oh, no, it's not. We're going to open up this cow and hall JPEG, push open. So we'll do a select all, or Command A, Command C, which is copy, and a Command V, which is paste. And once we bring that in, we can delete this extra layer here. We just don't need this. It just kind of comes on. So if you kind of toggle this eyeball on and off, it'll tell you that you're on the correct layer a lot of the time. You have to make sure it's highlighted. We can do a Command T. So Command T is under here as well. Oh, you could do a free transform. You can also do other types of form. You could do scale. I think this helps you to rotate it. I've never used any of these before, so I don't really know what those do, but free transform or Command T. And then just start dragging it to about, I'll do a Command plus, where you can use your magnifying to zoom in. And we're just going to size this down using these white arrows. So Command T, which is to transform, and we're going to scale it down using these arrows. You can drag it from any of these arrows and then push return when you're done. And you can still move it around, the layer around, using this move tool. If you hover over this, it tells you what it is too. And so we have our cow and hall. We'll add another layer on top of this, and we will do a select all, or Command A, and then we'll do an edit fill. Again, this is like what we did in the last video. Instead of color, we want black, which for the contents of this fill. We will make it multiply. Let's make it around 37 or so %. Push OK. All right. So we have this extra layer on top that kind of helps the text to pop out of the background. So we'll do a Command D to deselect. And then the next thing we need to do is add in our text. So we will just grab the text box. We'll just do a click and drag, and it fills it in already, but it's already highlighted. So let's just start. So you can always grab this to center it. If you want, you can get your cursor and highlight the whole thing. You can center it, bring it to the left, bring it to the right, bring it to the left, center it, change the color right here. We do want white, so I'll leave that the same. You can change the size as well. So let's go to Window, Character, because I do like this box a little bit better. It's just a little bit more friendly for text, and it's the character panel. And I think I'm just going to make this maybe 18, and I'll make this 24. I might make this on 2 lines, and I'll just make it maybe like, oh, I don't know, 36 maybe. And this still has the bold on, so I'll take that off, and I'll make that not all caps again by clicking the I don't know if you hover over that, all caps. So you can see if you hover over this, it'll kind of tell you what they are. in the character panel. So that's looking pretty good. And then we need to bring in the logo. So we will do File, Open up this MSUN logo. We'll do the same thing we did with the Cowan Hall, select all, bring it into our document, do a Command V. Oops, I didn't do a copy. So Command C, or edit copy, and then go into our file that we want it in and do an edit, paste. And so we have that, Command T, drag it down here. We can use our keyboard to kind of gently nudge it, tweak it a little bit for ever so slightly. So that's looking pretty good. So what we're going to do now is we're going to push Shift and hold it down and then click so that we get all of these. And you can do them one at a time too, but you have to hold down Shift the whole time. And so all of them are highlighted, and we are going to create a new group with this little icon down here in the Layers panel. Create new group, so click on that. It looks like a little file folder. We'll just rename this by double clicking and make it slide 1. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're actually just going to take this and copy it by dragging it onto the new layer button, and that will make a copy. If you want to copy anything within the Layers panel, just drag it down here. And let's rename this slide 2. And let's open that up. So it looks the same as, this one did. It has our logo, our text. Let me close this first one that we made. I'll take off the eyeball on it too. So this second one has the logo, text, our little black box that we put on there, and our background image. So it has everything that the other one did, but we are going to be changing this second slide. So we will delete this text. We don't want that anymore. We want these elements still. So on this one, we want to make a button. So we're going to make our button the same way we did in the other video on the static ad. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. So we used our rectangular marquee tool. We clicked and dragged, made it about the size we thought we wanted it to be. Edit fill, once again. It's still on black from when we created our black box, but we can make it color, and it'll bring up this slider. You can use the red down here too, it doesn't really matter. Just make sure you get like an intense red color, and the most intense is usually in this corner. Push OK. It's still on multiply, so make it normal, and we want our opacity on this box to be 100%. So that'll fill in that shape quite nicely. We can grab our move tool, we can move it. Oh, what just happened? Oops, I'm on the wrong layer. I'm on layer 2. So let's just do a Command Z. An undo. So we need to make a new layer before we do this. So we don't want to be on our black box layer. So make sure you're on a new layer and create your box. And let's do a Command D. So here's my new layer. Sorry about that. This is when we're going to make our button. Drag your box. Edit fill with our color. It'll actually fill it in with the same color that you picked from last time, if you've done it previous, and then you can use the move tool to move it around. See, now this looks right because it's on its own layer. This red box is on its own layer now. Before I had it accidentally made it on top of this and it wasn't right. So Command D to get rid of those dancing ants, and then grab your text to put on inquire today. This is too big, so if we just do Command A, if we have our cursor from our text and we do Command A within that box, we can bring down the size. I think I'll make it 22 maybe, or no, that's too big. Maybe 19. Not quite right. 20. Okay, perfect. I'm going to take off the bold, I guess. Okay, well you can center this within, this keeps on popping up, sorry. We can use the move tool, make sure you have that selected. I'm still on my text, layer. So it looks like we are looking good there. So since the Inquire Today and the black, or the red box are kind of the same button, we want to push Shift and hold it down and click so that both of these are highlighted. And let's make a group out of this and we can name this button. So we're still within the slide 1 group right here, or slide 2. Slide 1 is toggled off currently. I can put it back on, but since this is on top, you won't see it unless I toggle it off. So that is basically the 2 groups that we are going to make, slide 1 and slide 2. So slide 1 looks like this, and then slide 2 looks like that. Pretty simple. So to create an actually animated GIF out of this, hopefully I can get it in on this video. If not, we'll just have to split it into 2. So if we go into Window and Timeline, that'll bring up the timeline. Okay, so don't be scared of this box. It's kind of intimidating in some ways, but so just click on either one of these. I typically just tend to click on the top one, push Create Frame Animation. And so we have this frame inside of the timeline. And basically we want 2 frames that you know, are both of these grouped, slide 1 and slide 2. So if we click over here and we drag this down and make a copy, we'll have 2. And they look exactly the same right now. But if you go on, if you highlight the first one, and for some reason this just gets added in, just delete this. So go to this first one within the timeline right here. And the first one we want to show up is this one, the slide 1. And then this one needs to be slide 2. So we toggle the eyeball onto slide 2. So as you can see, here's our frames. It's really basic. We can change the time that each frame will be displayed here. So I found that if I make this 2 seconds and if I make this 5 seconds, that works pretty well. And you can loop it 3 times, once, you can do a custom amount, but I usually just do forever. And so if we push play, it'll play it for you. And it'll just keep going because it's looping forever. So 2 seconds and then 5 seconds. 2 seconds and then 5 seconds. So that's kind of a really basic web ad. So you'd want to save this file, save as. You'd still want to, let's see, I'll open this up. We don't want to be there, we want to be in here. So I'm just going to name this. I've been naming them video demo, but okay. So animated GIF Photoshop, you could just name it that. You don't have to put video demo. Make sure you have your .psd on the end. Make sure this says Photoshop. Push save and okay. So that's our PSD, our working file that'll save everything, all of our layers, all of our little frames, and within our timeline. It's basically our working file. Anytime you work in Photoshop, make sure you save out a PSD and then go from there. So we'll save out a GIF file, export, save for web. So the preset, this is kind of where you do it right here. This will be a larger file size, I believe, than this. And then this will be even lower because I think this is the colors, the amount of colors in the GIF, 128. I think if you go to like this amount, 32, there's only 32 colors and so forth. This one will have 64 colors. And so it's just a difference in the file size, and you can see the file size here. So each little time you change it, it'll change your file size. And if this will make the largest file size, so it's 40.78K, and that's fine. So push save, and that'll save out your GIF.gif. Push save. And so we will have a Photoshop file and a GIF file. And to preview these, let's Let's see.